I don't know
Because
about
a lot
all
of
that.
the work that you're giving or that you're supposed to do, nobody wants to do it because it's hard. Because you have to look within yourself to see what is holding you back. People don't like to have that accountability, right? Your personal accountability. It's everyone else's fault that you are the way you are. So that's really hard for a lot of people to go through, is just being like, okay, well, this is the reality of the situation and I need to make changes. That's hard work.
Super hard work.
But damn, is it worth it?
Welcome, beautiful people, and thank you for joining us on Till the Wheels Fall Off, a podcast by Two Folk Couple. I'm Matt.
And I'm Paige.
And we're here to inspire others, to bring you guys into our lives and tell you a little bit about our journey. Over 20 years together, we've learned a few things.
We're going to work toward being the best version of yourself possible. We're going to dig into building a positive mindset, discuss mental health, addiction recovery, improving fitness, building businesses, and insight into what it takes to navigate life today.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And once again, before we begin, we're going to ask that you go ahead and select that follow button or subscribe on YouTube. And if there's anything that you hear today that you like, please share it out on your social media platforms, on your Instagram stories or on your posts. We absolutely love knowing who you guys are and that you're getting something from this.
Yep.
So today, I guess you'll be hearing this on the 12th of April. That is one day before I celebrate 10 years sober. Every year about this time, we start to reflect on what life was like a decade ago and the chaos of it, really. And really what life is like today compared to what it was like then. Mm-hmm. What are some feelings that you've had this last week as we kind of lead up to this?
I've had a mixture of feelings. I've had gratitude. I've had some triggering feelings too, because the weather,
This time of year.
This time of year, every year, it's something. I mean, even stuff that's on the TV that kind of takes me back to that dark time. So there are some triggers. But then I think the gratitude every year gets more and more like strong, it gets stronger.
I can go just about an entire year without thinking too terribly much about this. And I don't spend much time in reflection at all about the changes that I've made. But every April, I'm just hit with like a wave of emotions. Mm-hmm. And I just so vividly remember the sights and the smells and the feeling of just being completely scared and like just the uncertainty and like not knowing what was going to come next. It was so scary.
Yeah. Not
knowing what was going to happen to our little family and what was going to happen to me and you. And it's just crazy. And I think about it now, what life is like today. And it doesn't even seem like we're the same people.
No, we're not.
And changes don't take place overnight.
Oh, no.
They don't. Like early on, things were not great. Just because you decide to make a change in your life doesn't mean that the world changes with you just as quickly. Like you can make changes in your mind almost immediately, but it takes a lot of willingness and a lot of action to make that stuff happen. Mm-hmm. So I think just for a moment, let's just kind of talk about some of the things that have changed over our last 10 years. Like what life is like today. Like we've spent a lot of time covering what happened to get us here. But
yeah.
What we did differently to get us out, and what's something that happens today that never happened back then.
What happens today that never happened back then? Like within our relationship?
Yeah, anything really.
Oh my gosh, everything is different. I mean, we have way more intimate conversations than we've ever had. We have more family time together, like with our children.
Yeah.
What are some things that you can think of? I'm blocking right now. I can't think. You could tell.
Man, when I think about like what's different today than was different back then, is that I think that I'm present in my life every single day.
Yes.
I used to spend days on days thinking about the changes that I needed to make and how far I had to go and how impossible it seemed. Like I was just like standing at the foot of a mountain, staring up at the top, like thinking there's no way I'm ever going to get there. There's just no way I'm ever going to get to that point. Like I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be serene. I wanted to be sober, obviously. But more than that, like I wanted to be a good dad. I wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be all these things. I wanted to be fit. Like I wanted, there was like this image in my mind of this person that I wanted to be. And I felt like I was so far from it.
Yeah.
And so when I look at myself today, I am every single one of those things and then some.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even seem real sometimes.
Right.
Like even the simple things like swiping a credit card, knowing that there's money to pay for whatever on the other end of that.
We still get weird about money sometimes because of all the
I
crap
think
that
in a
we've been
lot of
through.
ways, like financially, we're better off because of what happened back then.
I agree.
Like, we don't spend like fools.
No.
We have little to no debt.
Right. We're very frugal.
Yeah, like we've got equity in everything we own.
Yeah.
And we don't spend a ton of money on dumb stuff.
Right.
Like even making a $400 purchase on new lighting equipment for us was like, man, like
Yeah. I was like, do we really want to do
and
this?
that's nothing, but you know, to what we have now, but it's crazy to think about. I'm sort of grateful for that.
I am very grateful for that. Yeah.
I think more than anything, there's just this overwhelming sense of gratitude for the life that we have today. And I don't take a lot of credit for it because I feel like there were people in the right places and I was just willing to listen to the right people at the right time to get me where I am today. And I think that that's the theme of our episode today. I don't like to spend too much time on this stuff. I know that people get a lot of enjoyment out of this story and we get a ton of feedback about our journey through this. But I want the point of Till the Wheels Fall Off was to make this stuff applicable for the listener.
Yes.
And to make this applicable in your life. And not everyone is dealing with an addict in their life. There are some people that listen to this and like that's not even a concern for them.
Right.
But they do want to make progress in their life and they do want to get better at
They may be
some
struggling from
things.
something and they feel stuck and we want to be able to guide them through that.
We do get a ton of codependents that reach out. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I mean truly
it's reality. I am a codependent person.
People who are dealing with an addict in their life. And so you get the sane one in the relationship generally. I guess, well, I don't know. Are we all, and is anyone sane? No, but
No.
typically you get like, for us, it's mostly wives that reach out and it's like, this guy's just out of hand. How do I fix him?
Right.
But I forgot where I was going with that. But for us, I want to make some of this stuff applicable. And so we can look back over our course of time together through this journey, and there's some themes that are common to whatever you're going through.
Agreed.
And so I think when we first look at us today and look at us then, like what was the first step that we took? And it was the truth of it all.
Looking at reality.
Let's look at reality and let's look at where our lives are. Like you can't wish yourself into right thinking. Like you can't wish that things were better and they just get better. You can't just like hope that one day life will just present you with the perfect circumstances for things to get better.
Yep, you got to put footwork.
And I think that it's really easy for a lot of people, especially with what we dealt with specifically, but
yeah.
I think with a lot of people that I work with in just mindset, that it's just going to fix itself. It's just going to fix itself one day, and it's really easy to make things seem better than they actually are.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
rather
Because
than
you're making
looking-
excuses for how your life is. What the reality of your life is. You're looking at different pieces and you're picking it apart and looking at certain things and you're like, oh, well, this just is what it is. And maybe one day it'll get better. When you really have to look out from what do you say? From I always just ask you this, 30,000 feet.
30,000 feet. It's like up in an airplane looking
that
down.
has been the biggest
cornfields.
thing for me to look at my part in my life and everything, and to actually look at reality is look at it from afar. Like imagine it, and you really get to see how things are dysfunctional or messed up or toxic or hard.
Looking at the absolute truth of it all.
Yes.
Without sugarcoating anything. Look at reality, and are you where you want to be today?
Yeah.
Are you where you want to be today?
Most of us are not.
Most people aren't. I would say that any person who's set on growth isn't where they want to be today.
Yeah.
Some of us are just okay with it. Some of us just get lost in it and just don't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
But are you where you want to be today? And what changes would you make about your life?
Yeah.
Like, what are the things you would like to change? So for some people, it's like, I want to be fit and healthy. Like I want to have a 6-pack.
Or I want my addict spouse to stop drinking.
For some people, it's like, I want to be an entrepreneur.
I'm saying that for a reason.
Why?
Because you can't change that person.
It's true. What would you change about your life today,
Like-
though? And so the right question to ask would be like, how do I just be happy with this person? Or how do I be happy moving on without this person?
What do I need to know? Or what do I need to do within myself?
So what would you change about your life today? And then what would that look like?
Yeah.
What would that change look like? What would it take? And do you have the courage to make that change?
Courage to change.
I think that's possibly the greatest asset to undergoing any kind of major change in life is just having the courage to do so. The courage to say that I am worth this. I'm worth it. I deserve this. Damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I deserve to be happy. Like,
Right.
why the hell is it not? What's so toxic about me that I can't be happy too?
Right.
And I think for me, sitting in like treatment, I had this thought. So I'm a Rangers and a Red Sox fan, and like the 2004 Red Sox were the first team to win a World Series in I think 86 years.
Yeah.
I remember the theme of that team was why not us? I remember having that thought too when I was in treatment, like, man, why not me? Like, why can't I get this?
Yeah.
They say that people get this all the time. Why not me? You know, we talked about the statistics of this in a reel recently about how it's 5% or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that you're a statistic of 1. And anyone who has that deep desire and who honestly feels like, why not me? Why can't I get this thing?
Yeah.
It's like, let's say your goal is like, you want to make $100 million. There's a well-worn path to do that. Why not me? Be asking that question instead of, I can't do that. That's just, no, that's for special people. BS. Why not me? Why can't I do it? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I have a six-pack?
That's how I changed with my physical part, was I asked myself, why not me?
Yeah.
And that was like that's what clicked. Literally, that is what clicked after all the years. I'm like, why not me?
It's a simple and powerful question to ask yourself, though, if you're not where you are, where you want to be today, is ask yourself, why not me? And then get it in your head that it doesn't take a special person to accomplish these things. It takes some dedication, some willingness, some action, and a belief in yourself.
And the willing to look within yourself to change what needs to be changed.
Without a doubt.
Right. It's not like you can't come into this and think that things are just going to happen based on how other people change. It has to happen within you.
I remember when I was getting fit years and years ago, like I had this body image that I wanted. And it's funny because we were talking about this morning. So I ate like an absolute fool yesterday of cheat meal. I ate like more ice cream than a human can actually stomach. To the point where like I burped and I didn't burp. It was just ice cream juice that came up.
So gross.
It was so bad.
It was nasty.
I was so full. But I woke up this morning like a little on the fluffy side, you know, like not, but I look in the mirror. I'm like, this is the body I always wanted. Like standing here, I look like an Abercrombie and Fitch model in the bags when we were in like middle school. Remember those?
Yes.
And it's crazy. And I was always convinced at some point in my life, there was a point in my life where I was convinced that I couldn't do that. It wasn't for me. I wasn't built that way. I don't have those genetics. I don't have the special whatever it is that they have. Fact of the matter is there were people working a lot harder than I was.
Yeah.
And I put in the same work and I got the same results.
Exactly.
Why not me is the most powerful
Yes,
question you
it
could
is.
possibly ask yourself as you're starting a journey toward improvement.
Toward growth. Yep.
And then I think the second piece of this thing is willingness. And we talked
Yes.
about willingness this week and got some interesting feedback on willingness.
Yes, we did.
Willingness without action is fantasy.
Yeah.
You can be willing as can be to make change, but if there's not action to follow it, you will get nowhere.
It's no different than just wishing and hoping.
We call those people dreamers.
Right.
You can dream all day long that things are going to happen. Like there are people who dream about winning the lottery, but they don't buy tickets.
Yeah.
There are people who dream about being millionaires, but they're not out there making deals or making progress. They're not
Right.
reading books. They're not taking risks. They're not doing anything like that. There are people who wish they were fit and they're like willing. Like we see this a lot in the workout group we're part of. People who are like, man, I wish I could be this and I want to do this. They say, I want to be better. It's like, okay, then be better.
Then be better.
Then do it.
Right.
You've already got
Motivation is not always going to be there. You have to act yourself into
right thinking.
Yeah.
Motivation follows action.
Yes.
Not the other way around. I think that a lot of people get it twisted when you think about, let's say that you wanted to be less anxious. You could wish to be less anxious all day long, but until you start to deal with triggers, until you start to deal with coping skills and coping mechanisms that help with that, you're not making any progress.
No.
And then each time this occurs and you are able to take the proper action, you get more and more motivated that I'm going to beat this crap.
Yep.
Just like with working out, there are plenty of days where I don't feel like working out.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be motivated to work out, but you get your ass up and you do the work and you'll find yourself motivated to do it again.
Exactly.
Motivation.
You'll never regret the workout you did.
Yeah, motivation, like sometimes it comes and goes. It cannot be counted on to be there for you long term.
No.
Cannot be counted on long term. So yeah, willingness without action is fantasy. And I think that's a powerful quote.
Yep.
Want is just not enough. It's not. And another thing, I think about this too. like, how many more yets are you going to allow? So for me, at one point, it was like, well, I'm not 300 pounds yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm not wearing Spanx yet. Like, I was a male wearing Spanx at one point.
That was your wake up call.
If you sit around long enough, all of your yets will come true. And what happens, you'll just keep lowering the bar.
Exactly.
You'll keep lowering the bar over and over and over. I think about this with addicts a lot because the big one is like, well, I'm not living under a bridge.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. I haven't gotten arrested yet. I haven't lost my family yet. I haven't died yet. I mean, all of that.
Yeah. And the thing that I came to understand, thank God I did, was that yet is your future. It will occur. It's not a yet. It is going to happen. It's a matter of when it happens.
When. Yeah.
And inaction is a guarantee that it will.
Yes.
If you just sit around with no action at all, it's a guarantee.
It's just excuses.
Yeah. So if you don't want to end up in the loony bin one day, take action today.
Yeah.
Take action today. Follow through is possibly the hardest part about all of this.
Yeah.
Because we can get our minds right with why not me?
Right.
Okay, I can get there. I can get motivated. I can listen to a podcast from Two Folk Couple and be like, yeah, man, why not me?
I got this. Why not me? Let's go.
Beating my steering wheel, like ready to go.
Bet you got some motivation now, right?
And then like, willingness to take action. Like, I totally get that.
Yes.
Now let's do some work. People are like, oh, hang on, time out. I don't know about all that.
Yes.
Because a
lot of the work that you're giving or that you're supposed to do, nobody wants to do it because it's hard. Because you have to look within yourself to see what is holding you back. People don't like to have that accountability, right? Your personal accountability. It's everyone else's fault that you are the way you are. So that's really hard for a lot of people to go through, is just being like, okay, well, this is the reality of the situation and I need to make changes. That's hard work.
Super hard work.
But damn, is it worth it?
And it doesn't matter what you want to accomplish. There's a well-worn path to do it. And there are tools out there to get it done.
Right.
There are books. There are podcasts you can listen to. There are guides you can go by. There are groups you can join that will show you how to do this.
Yes.
It's always, okay, I'm going to digress for a moment. It's always been a goal of mine to own an exotic car.
So weird.
A Lamborghini or Ferrari. Like, it's always been a goal of mine. Okay, I know it's stupid, but it's a goal of mine.
No, I want like an old 5.0 Mustang that we can,
like
work
an old
on
Fox
ourselves.
body?
Yeah.
I want like a first-gen Mustang, like 66, 68. That'd be sick.
No. Yeah, that too. But anyway, keep
going.
going.
But anyway, it's always been a goal of mine to own one of these things. And then so I found this guy that essentially teaches you how to get one of these things. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. You essentially use it as an appreciating asset. You invest some in it. You don't drive it a ton. And if you pick the right car and you do it right, then you can actually drive this thing for free or make money doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, there's, it's not what you think about buying a Ferrari, is that you buy it for $400,000 and then a year later it's worth $200,000. Like, there are ways to do this that's correct.
Okay.
And so I'm taking steps to do that right now. Like, it's a goal of mine and I'm going to do it.
All right.
What? You're over here like, oh my God, are we really going down this road?
This is just the story of my life with you. It's always something that you go down this rabbit hole.
Man, I wake up one day and I'm like,
I'm going to do this and I'm going to do, but he
does
the research and he does the work and he takes the time and he actually figures out what he needs to do to get it done. And I admire that, but I'm still like, come on, man.
When we do work, let's say it's fitness, right?
Yeah.
There is a diet to follow.
Right.
There is a fitness regime to follow.
Right.
There's another thing is getting invested in a community that supports you.
Yeah, it's actually very simple on paper.
Super simple on paper. And it's actually pretty simple in general. It's just a matter of making yourself do this stuff.
Yeah, because you have to deal with a lot of emotions when it comes to this. You're having to recreate habits, recreate emotions in your brain, and recreate a totally different life by doing these small, simple steps.
When I think back to the beginning of this episode, over the last 10 years, what's changed is that I tell myself no now more than I ever have in my life.
Yes.
Delay gratification is like my goal every day. Like, I know that basically when I want to do something, I should just probably do the opposite.
Yeah.
That's almost exactly how my brain works at this point, because I'm so programmed for immediate gratification, which is always the easy way.
Yes. It will never get you growth.
It's
going to set you back further and further.
Yes. It will set you back because our brains seek comfort.
Yes.
They seek comfort and they seek the easy way out, like the path of least resistance. But that doesn't get me anywhere. And I got experience that shows that time and time again.
Yep. It's all temporary.
Reading, watching videos about how to get stuff done, journaling, spending time in communities.
Yep.
like actually taking action, getting my butt up at 4 a.m. and getting to work. And it's not like there's going to be a band playing for you, like celebrating this with a ticker tape parade every time that you do one of these things. Your reward is the peace of mind and that pride that comes with like, I'm making change, damn it.
That self-care, man.
I'm doing this, and it builds confidence, and confidence builds confidence, and then you start to make change.
That is where I have had the most growth in the past 10 years that you were asking earlier, like things that have changed. And I wanted to say that it's the self-care and the self-love that I have for myself. And the only way I got there is by doing all these hard things. So I was just kind of going back to that because it made me think of that.
I love Chris Williamson's podcast, and he had Alex Hormozy on this past week, and it's an incredible episode with these two as they're going through, I think it was like 19 lessons for life or something. And like one of them was this I guess this concept that he came up with, which is like, this is what hard feels like.
Yes.
And like, as you're sitting through a workout and like you can barely catch your breath and you can barely do any of this stuff, it's like, this is what hard feels like.
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to build a business and you don't know where your first check is coming from, you don't know how you're going to make it till tomorrow.
You don't know what your next step is going to happen. You don't know anything.
You don't know how to file taxes yet. You don't know this is what hard feels like.
That's hard.
This is why most people don't get this stuff done, because they don't want to do hard.
Right.
If you can just get over that and just trust that you can, and with the right support, you're going to do it and you're going to kill it.
Yep.
You can accomplish hard.
Yeah.
And then the hard seems easy.
Yeah.
And then you can take on whole new
hards.
Exactly.
Yes. I loved that in that podcast.
This is what hard feels like is like my new thing right now. I love what he said about that.
Right. Because incredible. Like you said, we all seek comfort. The comfort is not going to get you anywhere. Yeah, there's a time and place to be comfortable, right?
Yeah.
We have like once a week.
There's balance, man.
We have that balance.
It's not like we're just like, we're not Goggins.
We don't go hardcore all the time. It's not, that's the thing. We find the balance. But every time we say no and we get into that hard, we know that we're getting just one step closer. And it's an amazing feeling. That pride. Taking
action and actually following through and doing the work, like this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
This is where you will come to understand what hard feels like. And it's not going to be comfortable at first, but I promise you can do it.
And it's a process. You have to be patient with yourself as well, because you will go back to old habits.
I think the emotional piece of this thing might be the toughest. Like, let's say that there's someone in your life that robs your joy.
Yeah.
You've got someone, a family member is usually who this is. It's like someone you just don't want to spend time with. And setting up a boundary, it's like, I am not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like the guilt that you feel, the torment that you feel, like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and you've hurt someone's feelings. Like, this is what hard feels like.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You have to know you're doing the right thing in that moment and for the end result.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what hard feels like applies to just damn near anything, any goal that you want. There will be a point where it becomes hard, and just know that it's okay. And that this is what hard feels like is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because most people quit. Like, there were some really cool statistics about podcasts in general.
Yes.
So I think, let me see if I can get this right. I don't remember. So I think that most podcasts make it 3 episodes. Is it 3 or 7 episodes?
I think it's 7.
Something like 7, 3. It's less than 10. I know that for sure.
Because,
most podcasts don't make it past, I think 90% don't make it past 7 episodes. And then of that next 10%, they don't make it past 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So if you've got more than 20 episodes, you're in the top percentile of podcasters of all time.
That's crazy.
There were times when we were making this thing, it's like, no one cares. No one's going to listen.
Yeah.
And now we've got a little following and we're in the top percentile of podcasters at all times. But there were times when I remember doing this with you and it's like, this is what hard feels like.
Yes.
This is why no one does this.
Right.
Because it's easy to give up because it feels like no one cares.
Yep.
But we said from day one that if it takes 5 years, it takes 5 years. If it takes 10, it takes 10. I don't care.
Right.
This is what we've dreamed of doing our entire lives.
Yes. This is what we were made for.
We're going to get it out there.
Yeah.
And they may not love us right away, but they will one day. I promise you that. They will. People will love us one day and we will help people one day.
That's the thing. That's the whole goal. Just help.
But we've had those moments. This is what hard feels like.
Hell yeah.
When the rubber meets the road. Like when I was in
on
sobriety.
Our business side of it too. It's like it's hard work, but damn, we know that there will be results because we've learned over the years.
Without a doubt. And let me bring it back to sobriety for just a moment. There were times when I went through some of the first, trials, adversity, I guess, for lack of a better term, in sobriety. We would be arguing about something, or I would have a really, really, really bad day at work, and I felt like the world was just crashing down around me. And I didn't have my pacifier anymore. I remember at one point, being in tears, Like, this sucks. This is horrible. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And then having that thought that there are people that do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. You'll get through it. This too shall pass.
Yep.
Don't make a permanent solution for a temporary emotion. Let's just get through it.
Okay, that's taking me back to when I was on my anxiety meds. When I was on Lexapro.
Sorry, my nose has been running. I apologize.
We've got allergies around
It's
here.
rough.
When I was on the Lexapro, and whenever you start tapering yourself off of
the
it,
withdrawal.
you start having withdrawal, and they call them brain zaps, and it's a very scary feeling. And it's like, I feel like I'm going to die. So what did I want to do? I wanted to keep taking the medicine because I knew it would make me feel more normal.
It would make it go away.
It would make it go away. But I didn't want to be on medicine forever. That was just a temporary fix so that I could grow through it. But that's a totally different episode. So whenever I was reading about it and learning about it and knowing that it wouldn't kill me to get through the brain zaps, then I can be strong enough to get through it. And then eventually I would be off the medication, because that gave me hope that I can do this hard thing and I'll get through it. And that taught me a very good lesson in life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, you learn a lot through those moments where it's like, there's a fork in the road and I can go left or right.
Right.
And I'm just going to keep doing the hard thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to live in it. I'm going to learn something from it. And I'm going to get what I want out of this.
Yes.
Most people quit when it gets hard.
Yeah.
If you can just
That was me.
push a little harder. Like, I tell our kids all the time.
Yeah.
Like, kids have gotten to the point, and I think that the education system in general has gotten to the point where they have tried to make things really easy for kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so I tell our kids all the time, if you can be 1% better than your classmates, you're going to rule the world one day.
That's it.
1% better. If you can just be a little bit better, because everyone has gotten so soft. So when it gets hard, if you can stick it out and deal with the hard and get through it, you're going to be so grateful you did.
Yeah.
You're going to run the world.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any problems because everyone has gotten so comfortable and they don't want to do hard.
No, it's sad. So sad.
Surround yourself with those who are okay doing the hard things.
Right.
That should be your circle.
Yes.
If they're not pushing you to do the hard things and they're not doing hard things too, I encourage you to find a new circle. We will fill in for the meantime. So what are you waiting for? Take some action today.
Yeah.
The last piece of this is kind of where we are today, which is the ongoing maintenance of it all.
Right.
So once you get what you want, it doesn't stay there forever. You have to continue to do maintenance.
Absolutely.
It gets easier though.
It does.
It's not like you're in the hard anymore.
Right.
Because
you're having new hards now.
You have new hards, and like your bar has moved up to a point where you're very comfortable doing things that used to just scare the crap out of you.
Yep.
You're very comfortable running 3 miles today. That's nothing. It's like, okay, big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. But at one time in your life, that seemed impossible.
Right.
So maybe you don't have to do the full 3 now. Maybe you just do 1.5 miles or 2.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, like when you get into business, like once you've figured out how a lot of this stuff works, how your processes work, like once you've done that brain damage, then it's just maintenance of that stuff. And it's just small improvements and adjustments over time.
Exactly.
It's not, you don't have to do the big, great, scary work anymore.
Right.
It's ongoing maintenance. So like I think about this with sobriety. I don't have to do much anymore to remain this way.
Right.
Like I think about the time commitment that I have in any given week. And this is if I'm going to like 3 meetings a week and I'm spending time with people on the phone and I'm reading. Honestly, 5 hours a week total.
Yeah.
And that's on a busy week.
Right.
The average week, I'm probably doing 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours
Yes.
of actual work. And that means reading, meditating, spending time talking with other people who are going through this and helping them through it. A couple hours a week. I get to trade 2 hours for a lifetime of happiness.
Yeah.
That's what maintenance looks like.
Right. Yeah. And for me, I was thinking about whenever I was starting to get over my panic attacks and stuff. So I had a whole process of meditation every day, journaling every day, reading every day. Like it was hard work too, because it was a very uncomfortable
you journaled forever.
feeling.
I remember
I
that.
journaled
You still
for
do to a
probably,
degree, yeah.
That's what I was getting at with ongoing maintenance is like, I don't have to journal every day anymore. Like I did in the beginning. Like in the beginning, I was obsessed about it and I journaled, 2 years probably.
Yeah.
And the meditation too, like all of that. Now it's more of whenever I feel a little wonky, when you start going back into your old habits or your old feelings or old emotions, that's when I pick all that old stuff back up and it's like, okay, now I'm good. I can do this more, or I can get through it easier now than it was before. I wasn't as obsessed with the process, but that's what ongoing maintenance is. It's kind of like you when you're working out. You don't have to work out every day anymore to look shredded.
I don't, man. I don't have to work out every day.
You could work out like 3 days a week and you'd still look freaking sexy as hell.
Because I did the hard years and years and years ago.
Exactly,
for a long
because
time.
you worked your ass off to get there.
Yeah, and now I'm kind of looking.
Which is where I'm at.
Well, now I'm looking to level up. So I want a new hard.
Okay.
I'm looking to level up.
That's great. But you know what the
I've been
maintenance
the
looks
maintenance
like.
phase. Maintenance now for me looks like some people's like goal.
Yes.
And I think that's amazing. And it goes to show that what we're saying is true.
Exactly.
It's factual. I guarantee you this will happen if you work this thing.
If you do it. Yes.
This will happen.
Right.
Accountability over time is super important too. I think some accountability, like we've talked about accountability partners, some of this does come from your circle, like your inner circle.
Absolutely.
Which for us is like we talking about today, we have a super small circle.
Right. Like
5 people
circle.
or less.
Right.
5 people or less that hold us accountable and keep us where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But communities are huge to do this.
Yes.
We've talked about the importance of communities. And here very soon, we will have our own community
yes, we've
for
been
this
working
very
hard on
thing.
it. I'm so excited for it.
Been working super hard on this. We are in the hard. This is what hard feels like right now is what we're doing to build this thing. But we're going to create a really safe space for this. There will be more announced on our social media. We might even have like an extra episode that comes out one week to really talk about how it's used, the best way to use it. We've got to record some videos and some things like that to make this as clear as possible, but to have a community available for ongoing maintenance for people.
Yes.
Also to support them as they're going through the hard.
For people who are going through the hard. Yeah. And starting out and don't even know where to begin. Like it's going to be a beautiful thing to get a group together to actually process. And I just love it. I think it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be great. And I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but maintenance doesn't mean that you are done forever.
No.
Maintenance means that you have been able to maintain a new level of hard that you never thought possible.
Yes.
But you have to promise yourself to continue to grow.
Yeah, I always believe in leveling up, right? In your life.
Always.
Always level up. So when you get into maintenance, you're going to find something else that's a little harder, something different to grow towards. I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pumped about the community. And I think that this topic is really about what we are today. Like in the last 10 years, we would have never had a conversation like this.
No, and I'm just so grateful for where we are. Like I think that our life is amazing and I can't even imagine it being any different like it was before. Like
can't either.
It's a totally different life that is fulfilling and I'm so grateful for
this
that.
is the life we dreamed of.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. It's just it's so awesome.
It's crazy.
Getting to do this with you is so much fun.
It is. It's crazy. We've been together since we were kids and we're here.
It's awesome.
Our 3 lives.
Yep. I think that's all we've got today as we sit here and kind of recollect over the last 10 years and what's changed. I think that process we sort of just outlined, which is, look at the truth, look at the reality of your situation, and then find the willingness. Why not start? Do this. Willingness, action equals change. And then do the work. Follow through, do the work. And then there's ongoing maintenance.
Yep.
And with those 4 steps, you can really accomplish anything you want in this life.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, because we both did it, baby.
Okay. This is awesome. I can't wait for the community. And we will keep everyone apprised on developments there.
If you want to find us, we are at www.twofocouple.com. That is TWFOcouple.com. All of our social media stuff is there. You can also... Because you're about to go down this whole list.
I was going to try something new. All you have to do is go to our Instagram at @twofo_couple. And there's a link tree that's got everything.
All right. Well, this is for people who don't have social media that are still listening to podcasts.
Who's not on social media these days?
Well, we weren't for a while. That's why this is like slow going.
We had to find the people who needed us, and that's where they were apparently. But anyway, yeah, check us out there. And if you haven't already, please follow the show. If it's Spotify, it's underneath the picture. You can click follow. If it's Apple Podcast, top right-hand corner, there's a plus sign. Follow us there. We're also on YouTube where you can watch us talk. If you're curious to what we look like and what we're up to, you can check us out there. If you're more of a video person,
we might pick our nose occasionally.
I don't even think about the video as much, but I need to get a lot more cognizant
Well, most of the time
that.
I'll edit it out.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can judge my editing skills
sniffling,
all
I'm
you
sorry
want.
for that.
No, that's life. This is life. We're authentic. It is. I don't know why you're apologizing for that shit. Anyway.
Okay. So I think that's all we've got.
That's it.
Okay. Well, until next time, I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.